On Osrc News at 7, Ondo State's Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu allays farmers' fears over eviction from forest reserves. President Buhari signs amended 2022 Electoral Act into law. Osrc X-rays strength of presidential hopeful amid nation's challenges. Catholic diocese suspends Reverend Father for eyeing governorship seat. And from the foreign scene, downpour ravages eastern India with 14 people feared dead. Thank you very much for joining us on the news at 7. I am Oyewumi Ayinigbara. The Ondo State government has interfaced with farmers and stakeholders in the Ofosu and Idori forest reserves to be on the same page when investors take over part of the reserves for palm oil plantations. At the meeting in Akure, the state capital, Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu said the move is in furtherance of the government's effort at improving the state's agribusiness for economic growth. Osrc's Richard Belisome reports that the governor, who alleged the farmers' fears of possible eviction from the forest, said they will benefit more from the new arrangement through job opportunities.
Growing population and lateral expansion of towns and villages in Ondo State has led to encroachment on forest reserves, including Ofosu and Idori forests, where farmers engage in agricultural activities. And in a bid to drive the forest reserves for economic growth, the state government allocated parts of the reserves to investors and constituted a forest management committee to ensure judicious use. The move necessitated this interactive meeting with farmers and stakeholders of the forest reserves who recently protested government's plan to be on the same page and to create a friendly environment for investors to succeed. Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu spoke through his special advisor on security, Adetunji Adeleye, said a forensic study conducted by the Forest Management Committee revealed that no farmer will be adversely affected under the new arrangement.
Investors are coming in, and we want the cooperation of the community, the farmers, and everybody inside that forestry reserves. We need their support, and these investors are bringing in new innovation into farming such that they could improve the lives of the farmers themselves. And to be able to achieve this, we need the support of the people to assist government to assist themselves.
The government joined them to support its government efforts to expand agro-business as investors will use the forest to develop the state's economy. Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Agric and Agribusiness, Akin Olotu, explained that government is targeting Ofosu and Idori for its cocoa, rubber, and palm oil revolutions to expand the state's comparative advantage. Rather than evicting farmers from the forest, Olotu said government will implement policies that will make them to continue the agricultural activities in the reserved areas.
Nobody is displacing them. And I'm assuring the people of the state that by the grace of God, it's going to be a win-win situation. The state economy will be better off. The farmers themselves will be better off. Because you need to visit any of these major outfits that enterprise that we have in the country today. You'll be amazed. You see thousands of people working there. And these thousands of people, you have graduates in different professions, chemical engineering, accounting, mechanical engineering, all of them.
Spokesperson for the Rural Idori and the farmers, Olubinga Samuel, however, called for more awareness and engagements to achieve the set goal.
These are now projects. But what suddenly people plans on the farmers that tractors are coming in and people are going to minerals. These people have invested millions every year. These people spend not less than 100 million naira.
Farmers in Ofosu forest reserves recently protested the alleged takeover of their farmlands by the government. Richard Belisome, Osrc News.
Meanwhile, communities in Ondo State must engage in constant interface to resolve boundary issues in ensuring harmonious coexistence. Deputy Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa gave the charge at an interactive session with members of the local government boundary committees in the Southern Senatorial District. Government House correspondent Simile Falade now reports.
The Ondo State government set up the boundary committee in the Southern Senatorial District of the state to prevent needless boundary disputes. The interactive session had in attendance representatives of council areas and traditional rulers to provide solutions to internal boundary disputes in the Southern Senatorial District. The Deputy Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, who presides over boundary matters in the state, said the interactive session was to call the attention of members of the local government boundary committees to their statutory functions. The Deputy Governor, who was represented by the Secretary on the State Boundary Commission, Mr. Abiodun Wolabi, said the committees are supposed to reduce boundary crisis, emphasizing that the consultative meeting will be held all senatorial districts.
To brainstorm on ways to resolve and manage internal boundary crisis of our state, as well as providing possible solutions to move the state forward. It is in compliance with the statutory goals of the Commission, as put out by the Federal Government of Nigeria official consent.
The chairman, Okitipupa local government area, Mr. Igbekele Akiriwa, who was represented by Mr. Ikwejamwa Johnson, said the meeting was an eye-opener on how to resolve boundary disputes amicably. Presenting the reports, Vice Chairman of the 6 council areas commended the Akeredolu administration for in place and good governance.
The issue of land disputes, the issue of chieftaincy, those are the critical issues that need attention. And that's what the government is doing to arrest that situation. That's why they established the commission. I appreciate it. And it will save a lot of problems within the local government and even in the state. It's a good development. We can be able to talk to our people, be able to talk to our neighbors across the other local government, the state also. We can be able to talk to them so that we're able to have peace and harmony in our nation.
Some other traditional rulers at the event, including the Olu of Igbobini, Obadele Raphael, said such interactive meeting must be sustained.
Peace is very, very germane to any development. And peace, when the grassroots peace is not there, the topmost peace will be eluded.
Other participants expressed optimism that more will be done to support the work of the local government boundary committees. Simile Falade, Osrc News.
In the meantime, Ondo State Deputy Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has tasked Royal Father not to allow shady characters infiltrate their domains to jeopardize their harmonious relationship. Aiyedatiwa, who played host to traditional rulers under the umbrella of 130 crown obas in Akure, elicited further support from the monarchs and promised that government will make them comfortable. Government House correspondent Simile Falade again has the reports.
The traditional rulers were in the Deputy Governor's office to appreciate the present administration for its developmental projects in the state. President of the club, Oba Samuel Adeoye, noted that they are most impressed by government's investments to retool security architecture for the safety of lives and property.
I want to also use this great opportunity to at least thank the government of Ondo State, thank our governor, for a very good job done issue, not only in the area of security and provision of infrastructural development across the state.
Obadeoye reiterated the support for government to consolidate its achievements and demanded improved welfare packages for royal fathers.
Whatever we do, we must definitely be loyal to the government on power. So we have been very well, the past leadership have been very well, and we're working cooperatively with the government. I can assure you that this current regime will continue in the same way.
The Deputy Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa thanked the traditional heads for the visit, urging them to sustain the peaceful coexistence in their domains.
It's cooperation we all need among ourselves, the government and the traditional institutions. We need to cooperate and have understanding among ourselves. administering this state because you are all partners in progress for ease of administration. So some of these issues and other issues that will be coming up from time to time as we continue in governance will be addressed cohesively. And I can tell you that they will be addressed satisfactorily.
While recognizing the support and loyalty to the present administration, Ayedatiwa said government will prioritize the request. 130 Crown Obers Club serves as a bridge between the grassroots and the government. Timile Ifalade, Osrc News.
The People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Ondo State says Assembly and House of Representatives primaries will hold tomorrow, Sunday 22nd, as earlier scheduled. State Publicity Secretary of the party, Kennedy Perete, in a release urged members to disregard reports about postponement. The National Organizing Secretary, Omar Bature, had announced tomorrow date before reports of postponement surfaced on the social media. You're still watching Osrc News at 7. After the break, we'll bring you more stories. Please stay with us.
My people, 20,000 naira bonus with your global and enjoy up to 20 cars. Free bonus.
I think I want to link this to my NIN to my global.
That was simple now. Call 109 now. Or just dial star 109 hash. Or you can just text your NIN to 109. What of people like us will not get NIN at all? What can any Glow One and register? Free.
Abego, how you say people can enjoy this 20,000 naira?
Whether you be old or new Glow customer, collect your whoop now when we say in the hot. Bonus free.
No, sir, don't receive my own bonus. No, thank you.
Up to 20 cars. Bonus free.
Glad to know you're still watching the news. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook Osrc TV Ondo, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel Osrc TV Ondo. The race to succeed President Muhammadu Buhari in 2023 elections have assumed a dimension hitherto unwitnessed in the country, judging by the number of hopefuls. Without recourse to the numerous challenges confronting the country, many politicians have thrown their art into the ring, seeking to govern the most populous nation in Africa. Osrc's Saeed Aribisala in this report examines the enthusiasm of no fewer than 40 aspirants vying for tickets despite insecurity, inflation, debt, a potential food crisis, and others bedeviling the country.
According to the International Monetary Fund's report, Africa's most populous nation, Nigeria, spent 85.5% of its revenue on servicing the debt in 2021. The National Bureau of Statistics put the nation's economic size at $420 billion, while the Debt Management Office record shows Nigeria's total debt as of December 2021 was $94.166 billion. And the Food and Agriculture Organization predicts that by June and August 2022, the number of food insecure in Nigeria hovers around 18 million. 323 security officers were killed by non-state actors nationwide between January the 1st and May the 15th, 2022, while the Nigeria Security Tracker reports 3,859 deaths and 1,827 kidnappings in the first 4 months of 2022, suggesting a radical approach to alter the frightening situation. As Nigeria heads for another defining moment in the 2023 polls, the capacity of competence and character of political gladiators who aspire to succeed President Muhammadu Buhari continue to spring comments and questions. Are these hopefuls aware of the nation's larger-than-life challenges and the Midas touch to fix the deficits? Are they pretenders? And if not, what do they have up their sleeves?
Imagine like them running into that. There's something that because they know they don't have anything to offer. Okay, look at some of their manifestos. The reason why Nigeria is not progressing as the level we are today is as a result of lack of management. our government and those people that have been ruling us, they lack management skills. Because looking at it, a lot of things is happening in the security level, and we have that kind of money in this country, and even to the level of the Osrc strike that we are in. That
it is not that they are coming to help the situation, but because of self-interest. It's because of self-interest. Otherwise, if you and I are contesting for something, then the other now call you that stand down for me. If you are not particularly about something there, you will say you will not stand down. But when you know that something is there that you are pursuing, you say, as you are having interest, I too is having interest. So I won't stand down for you. So something is there that they are pursuing.
Looking at the two frontline political parties, 15 aspirants are good to go for the PDP ticket. 25 aspirants are also due to be screened to eye the ruling All Progressives Congress ticket. While the large number of the contenders has been described as a good omen to democracy, some Nigerians ascribe the crowd to the selfishness.
So some people are out actually in the presidential race because they want to negotiate. They want to negotiate for, relevance. They're looking for opportunity. When after they have paid that, they'll be referred to as former presidential, aspirant. And if in that party that there is possibility of having to pick a deputy, the vice president from, their zone of the country, you will discover that such fellow will be pushing that, I contested, for the presidency, I am a presidential material too. So that they will have an advantage over, others from their geopolitical zones. But you see that so many of us are unserious in this climb, and that's why you see the retinue of people coming, even those people that cannot deliver their polling units. You see them coming out to say they want to contest for president.
Observers attribute Nigeria's current development, despite abundant resources, as a failure of successive administrations, and as the march to 2023 continues, citizens have been enjoined to vote according to their conscience. Sahida Ibisala, Osrc News.
Similarly, as Nigeria gets agitated where the pendulum will swing in 2023 elections, the Southern and Middle-Belt leaders have frowned at on-the-run schemes by two major political parties to impose Northern president on the nation. The stakeholders who converged in Abuja under the leadership of Pa Edwin Clark expressed concerns over the worsened state of the nation, manifesting in corruption, security, siege, and hopelessness. In a communique issued at the end of the deliberations, the forum said it would amount to bending the rules if the principles of zoning and power rotation between the North and the South is not accorded respect it deserves. It emphasized that in true federalism, no part of the operating unit should be undone as an outcast, noting that it would be unacceptable if the North tries to gamble with the unity of the country by replicating itself in presidency. Meanwhile, the Catholic Diocese of Boko in Benue State, Reverend Father Etienne Alia, has been suspended for joining the state governorship race. Alia had picked up the 50 million governorship form of the All Progressives Congress and had been cleared by the ruling party to participate alongside 11 successful aspirants in the party's primaries. The Catholic Diocese of Boko, in a letter dated May 20, 2022, announced the suspension of Alia from public ministry after a series of admonition. The Mother Church does not allow her clerics to get involved in partisan politics on their own. The federal government has postponed the planned resumption of operations on the Abuja-Kaduna rail line. The announcement came after families of abducted persons appealed to Nigerian Railway Corporation not to resume operations when their relations are still in captivity. No new date has been fixed for the resumption, as government said efforts are on to rescue the abductees. The Abuja-Kaduna train came under attacks recently, with bandits taking some of the passengers hostages. And now the Academic Staff Union of University ASU says the payment of minimum wage arrears would not inspire its members to suspend the ongoing strike. The chairman of the University of Lagos branch of the union, Dele Ashiru, who described the arrears payment as long overdue, said the core demands of ASUU have not been met. He explained that the leadership of the group is aware of the recent payment of the arrears of the consequential adjustment of the minimum wage and joined the federal government to implement the agreements containing various demands aimed at ensuring a better university education in Nigeria. And in Lagos State, another building has collapsed with one person dead, another rescued alive. The two-story building collapsed in the Lagos Island area after a heavy downpour. Reports say the building was under construction when it collapsed. Suspected terrorists have wreaked havoc in some communities in Gazelle local government area of Zamfara State, with the killing of 7 people. A resident, Malam Ibrahim Sani, narrated that the marauders attacked the affected communities and carted away animals and food items. Sani, who said the hoodlums caught the villagers unawares, embarked on house-to-house search, dispossessing them of their valuables while their victims watched helplessly. He explained that the 7 people lost their lives when they attempted to deny the terrorists access to their settlement. And now to the foreign scene. Floods amid landslides have devastated eastern India. No fewer than 14 people have died in the latest downpour, while more than 700,000 people are affected. Now the reports.
Abdul-Rashid wades through water several times a day to get essentials. His home has been flooded for days. He said he tries getting help, but shelters are few, and his family is waiting for government aid.
We are facing many difficulties. You can see for yourself. There's so much water. We have no way to get out. There's barely enough food. We had some rice at home, but now that's also over.
Hundreds of thousands of people have been displaced by flood caused by heavy rain in Assam State in India's northeast. Meghal district has the hardest hit. More than 300,000 people have been affected. Many people have been evacuated. Rafts like these have been crossing flooded roads to rescue people stranded for days.
We are facing many problems. Some people in my family are not keeping well. I asked them to come with me, but they didn't want to leave. They wanted to stay at home.
The military is using aircrafting boats to help distribute aid.
The last flood was in 2004, the severe one actually. After that, people just talk about that flood as the highest one. So the severity of the flood has surpassed that flood also. Now the danger level of river here is 59.10 meters. But it has crossed the danger level, which is now 60.39 meters.
All the water levels are slowly reducing. People are ready. The monsoon season will begin in few weeks, and the rains are usually heavy and cause flooding. Oladoyin Ayegbusi, Osrc News.
And with that foreign reports, we conclude the news tonight. But before we go, a quick look at the top stories. We told you that Ondo State Governor Akeredolu has allayed farmers' fears over eviction from forest reserves. Nigerians have expressed optimism that the 2023 election will produce capable leadership to fix the nation problem. We also told you that Catholic Diocese has suspended a Reverend Father Aliyah for eyeing governorship seat. And from the foreign scene, we also told you that downpour has ravages the eastern India with 14 people feared dead. And that's the news tonight. Thank you very much for your time. Good evening.